Good morning, everyone. Just waiting for everyone to join. So we'll probably be starting off in about a minute or two, and I'll do some introductions. But welcome. Thanks for joining.
That's great. I see some chat activity already. Hello,
Oh, yeah,
greetings from
hello.
Bulgaria. Great. Yeah, please let us know from where you're actually joining. We're always interested in that.
Would you like to wait for another minute, Christian,
Yeah,
before we
right.
start?
Exactly. So,
Oh, hello, everyone from Romania.
Sofia, Bulgaria, nice. South Africa, wonderful.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Hello from Finland, great. We will also share in a minute from where we are based. Versailles from France, great. Namibia, Saudi Arabia, Bulgaria, Slovakia.
That's great, isn't it? Morning, everyone. If you're just joining, hello, we haven't done any introductions yet. We'll do that in a moment. Just wait another minute for everyone to join. Properly global. It's great. Great to see.
Okay, shall
Okay,
we?
yeah. So good morning, everyone. Welcome to this introduction. Sorry, not introduction, but we'll be introducing ourselves. So we've got the lovely Christian Veer here today. He's one of the senior customer consultants, and his specialism is engineering. He is actually going to talk to us today about how we can solve complex engineering problems. And this is a deep dive into Knovel. So welcome, everyone. I'm Alison Ferret. I'm one of the customer success managers from Elsevier. I cover Romania, Croatia, Cyprus, Malta, and Greece. So hello, everyone, if you've joined from there today. And I will pass you over to Christian in a moment. I just wanted to go over a couple of things. Just to let you know, obviously, when you registered, you kindly gave us your email address. So we've got that. We'll be able to send you the slides and the recording afterwards. So just to let you know, that's coming. You'll also be able to download a certificate as well. I'll be keeping an eye on the chat and the Q&A. So if you have got any questions, if you can pop them in the Q&A, and we will have a Q&A at the end of the session as well. So Christian will be able to help you with anything after that. And we've also got a poll at the end of the session as well. So just to keep your eye out for that, but obviously I'll let you know when that happens. And without further ado, I'll pass over to Christian, who'll be able to introduce himself and start the session. Thanks, Christian.
Perfect. Ellie, thank you very much for setting up the session, for inviting me, also for kicking it off. And I will take it from here. So yeah, my name is Christian Vier. I'm with Elsevier now for more than 8 years, always in the engineering and geoscience group. And yeah, my main goal is to help you as end users to make the best of our engineering solutions. And today's focus is indeed on Knovel. And as you can probably hear from my accent, I am from Germany, but living now in the Netherlands for a little bit more than 12 years. and today it's the sun is shining. It's just fantastic. So I'm in a good mood, and we make the best out of this session all together. We are already right in the middle of the introduction here. We will move into the presentation then, so I will give you a quick reminder on what Knovel actually is. So if you joined our first session a few weeks ago, you know the basics, and you also know a little bit how to run a search on Knovel. Today we're making a more advanced session out of it. So I show you some functionalities and some tips and tricks also that I believe are of added value for you to bring it a little bit, bring it to the next level, so you can take full advantage of Knovel. There will be another session in a couple of weeks where we then focus more on hands-on workflows. So that means I will show you a workflow, and I will ask you then to replicate this workflow, but with a slightly different variables. So this is also something I would invite you to. It's also like roughly an hour, and we have, again, a deep dive, and then really an interactive session where you can, test your knowledge on Knovel. This is also something that is upcoming. But again, today, I also would like to invite you to search along with me if you like. We can, also spend some time in the end. If you think something was not clear or you want to see something again, I can certainly do it also in the end again. The biggest part of this session today we will spend in the platform. I mentioned it already. So if you have a web browser and you already have access to Knovel, feel free to open that, and I give you some time later on also to do that. I will share also some links in the chat with you, so you can search along with me or search for different things if you like. Okay, it's just a short PowerPoint presentation today. I would like to, for those who joined already, remind you what Knovel is about, and for those who are completely new to Knovel, give you, again, the introduction. So to summarize the content on Knovel, so you probably noticed that on my slides we have the Elsevier logo. So Knovel is part of Elsevier since 2009 already, and it celebrates 25th birthday this year. And what you get from Knovel is access to not only Elsevier content, that's why I'm saying this, but to much more. So we have more than 170 different content partners now on the platform, and that, for example, are the publishers, but also content from different societies. And the biggest advantage for you, of course, you come to the platform, you search for what you're looking for. Instead of going to Google, you find quality information from all these scientific publishers and societies. Everything is full text on Knovel. That's also important to know. And you see it here on the left-hand side. We have now almost 14,000 full text titles on the platform if you have a subscription to everything. And you can, again, run a search, and you get the best results from all these publishers and societies. In the last years, we also try to identify hot topics, so really relevant content areas, and we identified those here, like energy storage, fuel cells and batteries, renewable energy technologies, sustainable manufacturing technologies, process safety, always a very big point, especially if you're not only now during your studies, but also later if you're planning to continue in the corporate sector as an engineer, then process safety is really one of the key things there. But also information around additive manufacturing, a circular economy, durability of materials, material science itself, of course. You also have a great tool on Knovel that helps you finding substances and materials with very specific properties. Of course, don't have to explain artificial intelligence to you. So it's basically all around these days, data science, computer security, and packaging. So we identify those content areas, and we keep on adding also the newest content into Knovel. What's new? For those who used Knovel before, you see that we, of course, have new functionalities, and there is more coming also later this year. But to highlight just a handful, we see that we have a news feed available now on Knovel, and this is also how we will start off our live demo later on. So you can really take advantage of all the news around a certain topic globally in different languages if you like. You can set up also an alert for that, so you keep up to date on a topic of your interest. So this is new, and we will start our live demo with that. Springer Nature is now on the platform as well since last year, so that's also good for you to know, since this was planned for some time, but now it's finally there. And I will also show you on how to find this content on Knovel. We have many of our engineering overviews, which can also be used in especially teaching and learning. So if you are new to a topic, in this case, like hydrogen energy, this is an excellent way to start learning, to bring yourself up to speed on this topic. But again, many more topics are covered in these engineering overviews. We introduce also new search filters, new facets in this case, and one is for the industry. So imagine that you're searching for a certain term, but you want to limit it already to a certain industry because this is what you're really focusing on. So this can really help you, this filter. For example, you're searching for solar panels in the automotive industry, then you can limit it with this filter already to that. That saves you in the end a lot of time and effort to filter your search results already. So this is a new filter, industry. I will show that also later in the live demo. We still have industry Bibles like Paddy's Industrial Hygiene on the platform, and this is also available to you if you have access to Knovel, and also if you want to do something next to your studies. Could be a project management certifications. I did one when I was still studying back in the days, and we have excellent titles that will help you to acquire knowledge around project management and also prepare you for the certification in the end, like PMI, PMP, or Prince 2. Again, if you have access and you have a certain subscription, then you can access all these titles as full text. Focusing on the project management, I also wanted to share with you a new initiative we launched this year. We want to bring more content in different languages into Knovel. And we started with the PM Book Guide. And traditionally this is published in English language, but we also now brought it in French, German, Italian, Spanish, Chinese, Korean, Arabic, Portuguese, and Russian into the platform. And this is only the beginning. So we got a lot of feedback in the past from our users telling us, hey, could you please also add other languages than just English to the platform? And we listened to that, and this is a great start, what I believe, into more variety on the platform. So you get also different languages. If you want to see certain titles in certain languages, please let us know. I'm happy to feed that back to our product management. So this is also something new, and you will also find, again, for this title, different languages, but more and more will be coming throughout the year. And also this is something for the plan, or in the plan for the next years. I mentioned it earlier already, so Knovel is not a new tool. So if you are a first-time user, if you never heard of it, I want to give you an idea on what you're dealing with. So Knovel is not a startup product. It's been around for 25 years, and it's really not only valued by our academic users or governmental users, also by the corporate side. And this is really something that we're working on. We want to raise the awareness that Knovel can really help you with career readiness for engineering, or even broader for STEM. And what once started in 2001, just as a test with a handful of publishers and a handful of titles, and we made it available, really grew throughout the years. Now in 2024, we had around 14,000 full text titles here on the platform for more than 170 different publishers. And this is really something that, thanks to you, also to our end users, but also to librarians, but also thanks to teachers, faculty members that really keep on using it and seeing it as a valuable tool if you are in need for STEM information. So again, this is not something that's just recently released. It is there, and we keep on improving it, over the years, as you can see that in this chart. What we're going to do is now we have a look at a video how to design a bicycle that will I show you next. But before that, I want to bring something to your attention that we got a while ago from a research engineer from one of our corporate customers in the US. And he told us, since many students using also Google for their scientific research, and there's certainly a risk, and don't misunderstand me, Google is a great tool. I'm also using it almost daily to find my vacation, for example, find flights, find hotels, and order food for myself, for example. But this is not my first choice if I'm really looking for reliable engineering information. And one of the research engineers told us, in Knovel, you do the same thing you do with Google, but in Knovel, it's exact something you can trust. Sometimes you find things on the internet you cannot trust. This is the big difference. And by all means, I don't mean that you shouldn't use Google anymore, but if you find something on Google and you're not sure how reliable it is, please come with the information to Knovel and see if this is really something that is true, something you can trust. And this is really a good way to verify the information you found somewhere else, for example. But in an ideal scenario, I can create some appetite on your end to bookmark Knovel today, to keep on using it more often as your first choice for engineering, or generally speaking, STEM information. I would like to share a video also to show you how Knovel can be used in the classroom, and it's about designing a bicycle using Knovel. So this is just 3 to 4 minutes, but gives you a good workflow. And if you would like to see this video again later on, I will share the link later also in the chat, so you can watch it again. For now, sit back, relax, have a glass of water, tea, coffee, whatever you like, and I will start this video right now. Oh, I'm sorry for that. And it's not picking a link, so I will do it then manually from the browser, and we go in here and we will start it. So enjoy. I will be back in a few minutes.
This semester, your class is working through designing a bike. Your current assignment is to choose the material for the bike frame and provide the reasons why this particular material was chosen. Your professor recommends you consider the following during the assignment. What are the common types of materials used in bike frames currently? What properties are important for material used in a bike frame? What is the cost of those materials? What is the sustainability of the materials used? Starting a search in Knovel to find what types of materials are used in bike frames, searching bicycle materials provides an interesting set of results. Reviewing the first few results, you find some information about the common materials used. In Material and Design, the Art and Science of Material Selection in Product Design, Section 634 says, the requirements here are primarily mechanical strength and stiffness to be achieved at low weight and acceptable cost. In 541.1, Bicycle Materials Trade-offs, the author says, steel, aluminum, titanium, and carbon fiber all strive to achieve these criteria, but each differs in strength, stiffness, weight, fatigue resistance, corrosion, etc. Further, the author provides an interesting chart of each material and its advantages. Further research confirms the common materials used are steel alloys, aluminum alloys, titanium alloys, and carbon fiber. Each material meets the basic requirements but has trade-offs for stiffness, strength, durability, flexibility, and weight. Using Knovel's material property search, each material can be measured against one another by finding a material property to represent each. Starting with a material, you can find properties and values for each of the requirements. This allows you to compare how each material performs across the different requirements. To consider cost, using the previous keyword search bicycle materials, the title Materials Selection in Mechanical Design 3rd edition includes an interactive table which puts the weight of different materials against their expense. With this graph, you can plot points that show the approximate weight of the material versus its cost. Helpfully, the graph includes areas showing where typical bike materials appear. Final consideration should be given to the sustainability of the materials used. All have trade-offs. Focusing on the life cycle of a material and the energy necessary to initially manufacture and then recycle a material, a search in Knovel on life cycle aluminum alloys provides a graph showing similar materials used in the automotive industry and their energy costs. An example of the trade-offs, the energy cost to use aluminum alloys is high, but the material itself can be recycled multiple times. With carbon fiber, the energy cost is low, but it cannot be recycled. With the information gathered from Knovel, a material can be chosen and the reason provided. Which would you choose?
Okay, I hope you're still there. So this video gives you a good idea how it can be used in the classroom. And if you want to see that video again, I will show you now our Elsevier LibGuides. So, and those LibGuides are accessible if you use this link I'm now pasting into the chat box, so you can just take it from there. And this LibGuide will show you again what Knovel is, how you can get started and how to access Knovel, how to use it, how you can save and share, and how you get training and support. So if you have a question later on and something was maybe not clear, you could go back to the LibGuide. And here on the first in the first tab, what is Knovel, all the way down, you get 2 video tutorials. One is designing a bicycle and the other one is a chemical engineering project with Knovel. And you can watch these videos again. Also ideal for those who want to share it with a fellow student, for example, or with another researcher, or for example, in the library, you can take advantage of also these video tutorials. Okay, so this is the LibGuide, something I recommend, and also all the other solutions of Elsevier are covered in those LibGuides, but today's session is around Knovel. Okay, now you watched our video tutorial on how to design a bike, and you also saw some more advanced functionalities like the material property search, how you can make a decision around your bike frame. I want to show you some more in Knovel, and that's why we're gonna start the live demo right now. And I will give you now another URL into the chat box. And there we go. If you now pick this URL, app.knovel.com, could very well be that you have to authenticate yourself through the library, for example, or through a university, through an institution. And if you have access, it should look like this. And if you already have password and username with Elsevier, I also highly recommend that you log yourself in. And in the right upper corner, quickly get the the spotlight here. So you see in the right upper corner, you see my name. And if you are not logged in, then you have the option to log yourself in up here. Again, if you have password and username from Science Direct, from Scopus, from Cyber, from Reaccess, you can use the same and you can log yourself in. And this is also something I recommend, because like this, you can take advantage of all the functionalities on Knovel. The very first thing I wanted to show you is, for some of you, a reminder that we have this toolbar here on the left-hand side, and you get quick access to all the functionalities that are available through Knovel. And we have a look at a few today. So time is unfortunately running, so we can't have a look at everything in here, but I show you some things that I believe are very important. And we have the search box in here, and by all means, I highly recommend to use this search box if you're looking for an answer to your question. And we have these 4 boxes here that will give you introductions into the equations, into the property table data, into the interactive graphs, and the material property search, and as well with an introduction video. So if you want to watch something again, how it's used, you can always refer to these introduction videos in these 4 boxes here. But before we start searching, I wanted to show you the engineering newsfeed as promised earlier. And if you want to get an idea on the latest information around an engineering topic, or again, a STEM topic, you can open this newsfeed and you click here in the right lower corner on View All. And the next thing that will happen if you click on this button is you get a new tab in your browser, and you can use Chrome browser, Firefox browser, Edge if you like, and you get the overview on the engineering newsfeed. And you have different options here. So first of all, you can select the language. So we also have collected news feeds from different languages. As you can see, Arabic, Chinese, English, French, German, and so on and so forth. Also Russian, Spanish, Portuguese. I leave it with English now. And you can select the industry you're interested in. And if you are interested in education, we have also dedicated one for education in here. And if you open it, you see the sources we're using in here. Now, it's very cumbersome to go manually through all these different news articles, and that's why you can search those as well. And I want to give you an example. For example, I'm interested in hydrogen, so I can add keywords here with a plus. And this is also what is mentioned here. Use plus to require keywords and minus to exclude keywords. And there's also an option for intro instructions further here on the right-hand side. So I want to add a keyword, and my keyword is hydrogen. And I want to also add a region, for example, or a country. And I want to know, for example, the latest information on hydrogen, and in this case, in France. And then we can search all the different news feeds. And you probably also noticed that this one was updated 2 hours ago. For your information at this point is that we update this news feed every hour. So every hour you get new information on here. And if you think that's a lot to go always into Knovel and find the news information, you can get also these updates into your inbox, and the button for this is in the right up is up here in the middle. But back to hydrogen in France, and I can now search through everything that is related to hydrogen in France. And of course, I run the search before, and what I wanted to point out is, for example, that France discovers a hydrogen natural reserves worth $92 billion. And this is, so as far as I know, one of the biggest founds, if not the biggest founds in the recent time. And if you want to know more, then you can click on here and you get to the origin of the news article. So this is how you can use it. So again, the first thing I showed you now is the engineering newsfeed and how, first of all, set the filters here on the left-hand side, and then how to add keywords to find what you are looking for. Yeah? Okay. Let's go to the next thing I wanted to show you today. So it is something that you know already, so you can use that search box to enter your search words, but we have also an advanced search here. Yeah, here on the right-hand side, click once on advanced search, and you can enter also a title here, an author, a publisher, for example, or also free text. And I got this question in our last webinar here, and it was how to find all the publications from Springer Nature. And I show you how. So what we now did, I show you again. We start here on Knovel, and then there is the option for the advanced search. You click on that button, and then you go to the field for publisher, and here we enter Springer, and I'm using an asterisk in this case for everything that is related to Springer, also Springer Nature. And then you can search for it. And in the next, on the next page, you see all the results. And we see we have more than 300, or we have 310 books from Springer on the platform. And the next thing you could do from here is you could just open one of these titles, rare earth, metals and minerals, industry, status and prospects. You click on here, and then the next step, you go into the table of contents. And you see here we have the publisher, Springer Nature, of course, the authors and editors, and also the copyright and publication date. So we have the table of contents here, and if you see something that you want to read, it's really just one more click away. And yeah, why not start at the introduction here? So we click on here, and in the next step, you go then into the full text, and this is what you see here. And you can start reading in this title. And you have many options here. If you see something that is interesting, you can highlight this text, and you can also add a note. And you click on add note, and you say, this is, for example, for my thesis relevant. And you can also color code your notes in here, like green, blue, red. You can add a note. And on the right-hand side, you see then the text you just highlighted, and also your own note that you want to edit or use it for your thesis. And that's why I also told you in the beginning, it's important to log yourself in, because only then you can use this functionality. You can also save it if you like. You click here on save, and then you can add it into a folder of your choice if you like. You can also get the citation out of here. Just click once on cite, and you can choose your format. You could just add it to the clipboard, or export the citation to RIS, or to BibTeX, or as plain text. You could also download the chapter from here if you like. You can share it from here, or open it as a PDF. Yeah? We go back with the browser navigation. That can always be done in Knovel. So if you want to just go back, click on the browser navigation here in the left upper corner, at least in my browser, and you can go back to the title here, and you also see that you added a note in here, and back to the results page. And if you really want to start at the beginning, then you just click on a little house here in the toolbar, and you start here with Knovel over. Searching, we did it last time, also give you a quick idea how this could work. For example, I'm interested in computational, and you see while I'm typing, Knovel is also suggesting keywords to me, for example, and also the first resources here, like computational engineering, computational gas dynamics. In this case, I'm interested in computational fluid dynamics. Oh, that was a typo, dynamics. And I can just pick that keyword now from here. And I search Knovel for information around computational fluid dynamics, CFD. And you see, content type wise, we have available books, case studies, and this is also something I wanted to highlight at this point. Have a look at these case studies. We really invested a lot in these, and they can really help you also in your learning experience to see what are real life case studies for your search terms. So you can really learn how to use it also later if you aspire a career in the corporate industry, how to use this to your advantage. We have also chapters available. Conference papers and conference proceedings, also 2 filters that we added last year, also something I wanted to highlight here, and graphs, regulatory information, and also table information. Also here, the industry filter, as I showed you in my slide deck already. So take some time in the beginning. If you searched broadly, again, this is a very broad search, computational fluid dynamics, you can filter it further down with the filter sets here on the left-hand side. Or you can add more terms here if you want to connect it with Boolean operators. You can use and or not in here. That's not a problem. And maybe you want to know more about the setup of computational fluid dynamics. Then you can connect it with and setup, and you search for it. And then you get information around the computational fluid dynamics and the setup. And then you can have a look at your results. Here you pick the full text, and then you can start reading, sharing, and add your own comments if needed. If you want to know more about the searching, again, you can go back to the beginning. We have the advanced search here, and also here we have some tips and tricks what you can do with the search boxes for the basic search and also for the advanced search on Knovel. I also wanted to show you the property search. If you're not so much interested in text, but more in substances and materials, and you've seen it already in the video where we designed our bicycle. You click in the toolbar on property search, and here you can enter a property, a material substance, or you can also leave that empty. And in my case, to give you another example, I'm interested in ceramics. And I can search now all the tabular information available on Knovel for ceramics. Now, we have more than 1,800 tables and graphs available. That's, of course, a lot. So we need to be more specific. And we can do that if we use the properties here on the right-hand side. And in my case, I'm interested in information around, for example, the fracture. We have the fracture properties now here since I filtered that down, and I'm interested in the fracture toughness of ceramics. And now I drag and drop this from the right-hand side here in the middle. And I can also be very specific. I can decide whether information in tables around fracture toughness just need to exist, equal to a certain value, smaller, bigger, or in between a certain range. Why not having a look at these 97 tables and graphs results? So this is the next thing. If you want to see these results, you click here on this button. And then the next step, you get information, and you can review these results. And we're having a look here at different tables. And why not having a look just at the first one? We see a preview of the table already, and we're having a look at this table. It's material properties of mechanical properties of ceramics here, and we see different materials here, and we see information about the fracture toughness. This is exactly what I wanted to have. I can also now sort in here, ascending, descending if I like. And if I just select now the first 4, I can also hide the unselected rows from here. Now you've seen I've just selected now with these boxes. And I can now hide the unselected rows, so I can really focus on those. I used the sorting function before, and I can also quickly export those and save it into, for example, a new folder in here. I have already set up a webinar folder in here, and I add this as well. And I can also download it from here. Just click on download. You can choose the format, whether PDF, Excel, or CSV, also possible. Maybe I quickly show you how it then looks in Excel. Just click on here. And you will download this table now. And this is how it looks then in a third-party application. So this is how the table looks. So this is from the title, the Handbook of Ceramics in Grinding and Polishing. This is my table. And I can form it as a table. I can add other tables in here. I can start plotting in here. I can prep my data before I get them into simulation tools. This is how you can use that. So we searched now on Knovel. We found something. We manipulated these information to some extent here and got them out, and we can work with it. So this is the, let me have a look at the time. We have 20 minutes left.
Christian, just to mention, someone's raised their hand just as you were talking about that. So I'm just going to check with them and see. Sorry, I hope that's okay if they've
Sure.
got a question on what you've just said. So if you bear with me a moment.
Yeah.
So Madonna, I've just unmuted you. If you wanted to ask a question, I can see you've got your hand raised. Oh, I think they might be connecting to audio. If you haven't got a question, obviously, no worries. And if you need to pop it in the Q&A, we can check that afterwards.
Exactly.
Sorry to ruin the flow, Christian.
No worries. I can pick it up at any point. So
Yeah, I don't think they're connecting to the audio, so
yeah, maybe it was an accident. That's also
yeah.
fine. Again, property search is available here, and you can also take it to your advantage. If you're interested in thermodynamic data, you can just type in thermodynamic data and search through Knovel. And one advanced tool I want to show you is the NIST thermodynamic data for pure compounds. And this is something you can just open, and you get the option, of course, first of all, to know what the NIST standard reference database is, and you get an introduction, but you can also open this table now in here. So for the material property tables, you click on here, and then you open this table, and you see a huge table with more than a lot of rows in here. So what we can now do is we can search this table for a specific CAS number, for example. And we are searching now for this CAS number. In the right upper corner, you have the option to search this table. And of course, I looked it up before, and we see that this CAS number relates to methane. And we see the traditional information in here, like the INCHI key, the synonyms, the molecular weight, the boiling point, and so on and so forth. Can be done for any other substance here as well. But what I wanted to show you is the the dynamic data sheet here, which is behind Open Dynamic Data Sheet. And we click on here on methane. And then the next step, we get the information. You would get those from anywhere else as well. So this is not mind-blowing, I can imagine. But if we go further down, we get the taxonomy, we get the single-valued properties, but then also the multi-valued properties, for example, like the boiling point. And if we click on here, we get a great visualization of this. And we see here, we can also hover over the graph and get our 82 data points here on the right-hand side in a table, but also plotted here on the left-hand side. Now we can also change the units in here. We have the boiling point now in degrees Celsius, but we can also go to Kelvin or even imperial for Fahrenheit, for example. That can also be done just with 2 mouse clicks. You apply the settings and you get your information here. The pressure, is still in bar, but you can also decide to change this, and then you can go easily in here and pick your data points, and you can also download it easily here on the right hand side in a tabular way. But if you click in here, you will be pointed immediately to that point, and you get, of course, the pressure, the boiling point, the uncertainty, the phase, in this case, the liquid gas phase. And you can, yeah, download this information as well. Available also, for example, here for the melting pressure and also for the vapor pressure. And you have additional functionalities up here, color by phase, and so on and so forth. Available also for the thermodynamic properties further down, thermophysical properties. So feel free to discover that. That can really help you get in-depth information around methane and properties. So this is something I wanted to share with you. Another thing is in our Dipper subject area. And it's also a good moment to actually show you all the subject areas if you haven't seen those. Yeah, I'm referring now again to the toolbar here on the left-hand side. We now also had the property search here, and we're going down to browse. And under browse, you see all the subject areas that are available here on Knovel. 35 standard subject areas, starting here from A for adhesives, coatings, seal, and inks, and going down to W for welding engineering and material joining, and everything in between, of course. So, and if you see all the subject areas, and again, I want to remind you of that, you get 14,000 full text titles from 170 different publishers in these subject areas. And if you want to know more about that, you just click on one of the subject areas like chemistry, chemical engineering, and you see that we have more than 1,200 references in here and 269 equations. We're clicking back because I wanted to focus now on the Dipper Project 801, because what we developed a while ago is a lookup tool for compounds here. And what we can do in here is we can search in these almost 3,000 compounds. And I'm just, now we had now methane, we go for propane in here, and we can search for it. And what we see here is, of course, the Cas number, the molecular formula, the physical constants, the thermodynamic properties, and so on and so forth. But if we go further down, we have also equation plotters in Knovel. So I'm just picking the first one for the density in the liquid phase. We open this equation plotter. And what we can do now is we can also hover over this graph. Yeah, in the normal way, you would probably print it and go over with ruler and pencil. But this way, we can just hover over the graph and pick up our data points. Let's have a look at the units again. So we have the variable X, as the temperature is now in Kelvin. So we can change it again to, let's say, Celsius. And function Y, the density, yeah, we can leave it as it is if we like. And we can now go into here and pick up our data points at certain temperatures, for example. Then we see the density appearing. And if you go then on the left-hand side, you see these are the data points we're now picking from this graph. And this is not very precise, obviously. So you can also just enter your values. If you enter here a temperature of 50 degrees, you enter and you get your result here on the y-axis right away. That can also be saved and exported. Maybe I save it again to our webinar folder. Then here, add this resource. And we can also export the graph itself as JPEG, PNG, or GIF. And here the data, so our little table here, we can also export as HTML, Excel, or CSV. We're running out of time. There's maybe 2-3 more things I wanted to show you. So on the left-hand side again, the My Knovel section. So this is where you organize yourself. And if you click in this toolbar on My Knovel, you have your recent searches, what you've recently viewed. If you then click here on Go to My Knovel, you go to My Knovel. So this is your novel in this case, and you can organize yourself. Yeah, so you have your folders. You see I have a lot of folders here. I have also some shared folders in here. And the webinar folder I just referred to is also available here. And you now can also share this folder. So you can invite your fellow study mates, for example, but it can also be used from a teacher towards students, adding some titles on novels, some graphs, some tables in here in order to prepare for the next lecture, for example, or for a course. Or you can also set up title lists here with titles from Knovel and export those for a learning management system, for example, Moodle, Blackboard, or Canvas in here. So we generate now the HTML code for you. You can just copy and paste it into, again, one of your LMS tools. This is definitely something I wanted to show you, and the equations, not to forget about that. So I will squeeze that still in. So if you're interested in equations, so we have a tile here also in the toolbar. So you click once on equations and you go to the equations home. And we have more than 3,000 equations available for you. And you can also search for these equations. And if you just want to browse here, like chemistry and chemical engineering, fluid dynamics, to refer to that again, and you want to open, for example, the Bernoulli equation, the first equation, you just click on it here, and you get the introduction. So they explain a little bit about the equation. You get a graphic. And if you then want to work with it, you open the worksheet. And here you get your legend with variables and units and the actual calculation further down. And here in green, the result, delta P. And if you like, you can now just go in here and maybe we want to change U1, and U1 is the fluid flow rate at 0.1 in a pipe in meters per second. And it's now set to 0.5 meters per second. And if I just click in here, I change it from 0.5 to 0.6, and I click and I hit enter. And in this moment also my result of the equation will change in here. You can also modify the equation if you like. You can set up your own equations here on the right-hand side. We're running out of time. There's more time needed to show you all these functionalities, but this is definitely something, if you calculate a lot, have a look in here. It can help you saving time and effort in the end. Unit converter, I skip for today, but if you want to convert a unit, you can use that as well. Another thing I wanted to show you is the integration into the browser, and I close all my tabs up here, and it's the Knovel Chrome extension. This Chrome extension also works in Edge, and I give you a link now in the chat box. And why am I doing that? Because there is an add-on for your browser from Knovel, and you can add it through the Chrome Web Store. So have a look at this, and I want to give you a quick demo how that works. So imagine next time you're tempted to search on Google again, and I know we all know that. We also all do that. Then we're looking for example, for information around carbon steel, and I hit enter. And of course, we get a lot of information, also good information, but it's just very hard to find them. But what I get here is, of course, IKEA is trying to sell me new pens. I'm not interested in that at all. And so I really don't want to see all these ads on here. And but on the right-hand side, at the same moment, I see also a reminder that Knovel pops up on the right-hand side and gives me the first 3 hits on Knovel for carbon steels here. And this is because I've installed the add-on I just shared with you. So it's here in my Chrome browser under KN. And you can also always search from here if you add it into Chrome or into Edge. And it will pop up if you are tempted to do a Google search. It works also with Google Scholar, for example, to remind you you have access to Knovel and there's high quality content on there instead of having to go through IKEA, Bol, Amazon, and so on and so forth. Free of charge, no extra costs for that. Feel free to add it to your browser and you can take advantage of that as well. I want to summarize and then we have 5 minutes for questions. Again, you start on Knovel. So you have the options to search either with the Knovel search or the advanced search in here. We had a look at the engineering news feed here in the right lower corner. Something I recommend you, maybe you start your laptop up in the morning and you want to just know what is new out there. We have multiple advanced functionalities like the material property search, the interactive graphs I showed you to some extent today, also the property table data and the equations. If you don't know exactly how to use them, there's always an introduction video available from here, but we will also share the recording of today's session with you. Property search we went through. We also had a look at my Knovel where you can share content, where you can generate title lists for learning management systems. Under browse, you get the overview on all the subject areas. Equations, Bernoulli equations, the first equation we just had a look at. And under more tools, we also had a look at the Knovel browser extension. In Knovel, you get access to, in the full subscription, to 14,000 full-text titles from 170 different, reliable publishers and societies. And I know it was a lot today, but feel free to rewatch the recording and also play around with Knovel yourself. And I hope it can really help you with your studying, with your research, but also then later on as an engineer, because Knovel is also used in with a lot of corporates globally. Are there any questions?
Hi, Christian. Thank you so much. That was so helpful, really useful for me. There are a couple of things in the chat I just wanted to bring to your attention. So a couple of people have said they have an account with Elsevier logged in, but don't have access to all the content under the browser for all subjects, for instance. Is that to do with the subscription they may have, or?
Most probably it is, but it's good that you're telling me this, because some of you might have a little limited subscription. I have a demo account. I have access to everything here, but for you, it could be you just have a handful of subject areas, or you have 20, or you have 30. This has indeed to do with your subscription. If you have additional questions with regards to the subscription, I highly recommend to get in touch with your library. Those are usually the ones dealing with subscription, and they can also take your feedback into account if you need access to additional subject areas.
Brilliant. Okay, and the other question was, can we search about GIS data like DEM map?
We do not really have maps on the platform, and for your GIS research, I honestly have to say it's not my first choice to go into Knovel. There is content about the geosciences available, like the earth sciences here. You see there's the subject areas, but it's then mostly about remote sensing, for example, or the geophysics or geotechnical engineering. And there we have, of course, the conference proceedings, the conference papers, and then the handbooks available. But maps and things like that are not part of Knovel's portfolio, so to say. But again, have a look. There's interesting information around seismics, for example, that can also help you understanding, for example, a new topic.
Brilliant. Thank you, Christian. There are no further questions in the chat and Q&A at the moment. I thought I'd use this opportunity to run a quick poll if everyone would be able to complete that just before we finish. So I'm just going to pop that, launch that now.
Yes, please. And please give us feedback. We're really interested in what you think. And if there's also something that you're missing in Knovel that you don't think it's great, please give us your feedback. We're happy to feed it back to the product team to make it better.
I'll run
And the
by.
question here is, how useful was the session? How likely would you be to recommend it to a colleague? And we have lots of you, they would recommend it. Some of you are also, yeah, a little bit reserved. They would not recommend it, which is also okay. Also okay. But if not, then please also give us the reason in the chat, for example, why you think it's not useful for any of your fellow students, researchers, teachers, for example. We're very much interested in that.
Brilliant. There's no further questions coming in or anything on the chat. Oh, I've just as I said that. So we've got a question saying, how can I search in equations to find AHP analysis and calculations?
My recommendation is you also search. So I need to move the poll away. You search in here and see if there's anything available. If you have questions around specific topics, you will also see the equations in the set of results, and you can pick it from there. For the sake of time, we are highly recommended to try yourself if there's something in Knovel that you can use for that. But again, if there's something available, you will see it also in the set of results.
Brilliant. I'm going to end the poll because the activity's slowed up now. So just going to end that. Thank you to those that have taken part in that. Brilliant.
Right. Good. No.
Okay. Yeah. I think I'll just check there's nothing else. One of the questions was, can I register on it? So I think to use for, so yes, you can. Yeah. As Christian mentioned, you can use your Elsevier login if you have one already. Okay. I think that's everything. Christian, are you happy to
Absolutely. Hey, thanks for all of you for joining, also sharing where you're from. I'm usually very interested in that. I hope it was useful for you. If you think so, please recommend it also to others who might not be aware of Knovel. And I hope to see you back in the next session. It will be interactive then. And for now, I have a good day, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.